Thank you all so much. We've reached the end of our press conference. I am going to allow for questions, but before I do that, I really want to send a shout out and a thank you to our parliamentary staff. You know, without these guys, honestly, our capacity will be burnt out. I know for sure. All of us will be burnt out, and so it's really, really greatly appreciated because the work that happens in the background keeps us on point, keeps us factual, keeps us committed to what we need to do, and hold also accountable in terms of our own performance as a caucus. So your work is really greatly appreciated. Thank you all so much. I'm going to open for questions now. Please do state your name, the media house you represent, and to whom you are posing your questions. I'm going to ask that we please don't send all the questions to Mr. Mashaba. You can see that there are 8 of us at this table, and all of us represent ActionSA, and we can all do so diligently. And so I will take the first round. If there's more, I'll take another round. So I'll take you, sir, followed by yourself, ma'am, at the back, and then do you have a question over there? No? Okay. Over here, and I'll take you in that order. Thank you very much. Oh, yes, ma'am. I'll take you. When did you put up your hand? Just before them?
She was quick on the draw.
Oh, was she quick? Okay, so we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6. Sir with the hat, you'll be the last one. 6 in this round. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Leonardo. Jason Felix from USIM4. Just a question to Mr. Mashaba, and then a question to the parliamentary leader, Mr. Trollop. Mr. Mashaba, critics and analysts and all kinds of people have spoken a lot about the drama that you caused in Tshwane over the last week. Some have said that that you were a lapdog of the ANC and the EFF alliance and all kinds of unsavory things which we cannot mention here. But what is your comment to that? Because some time ago you've said that ActionSA needs to identify itself as a party on its own and move away from that stigma of, not maybe stigma, but maybe that picture of that you were DA light. I remember you spoke quite extensively on that as well. So if you could just maybe delve into that. And then just a question to Mr. Trollop. You spoke about the middle ground, or maybe you didn't use that word, but the middle area or that grey area of being between the Progressive Caucus and the GNU, which is a 71% strong force. How will you successfully operate within that space? I mean, in Parliament, it comes down to numbers at the end of the day. You would know yourself as a former parliamentarian yourself. So just, if you could briefly just chat to us about how you plan to successfully navigate that space with the resources, and when I say resources, I mean the 6 people that you have in the legislature. Thank you so much.
The rational center.
That was your question.
Lula Mamaja, SABC. Mr. Trollip, you spoke about laying criminal charges to the Minister of Justice. Just a clarity on that, because I've been looking and looking. Where exactly did you lay, which police station? And is it you, or like, please clarify who from the party laid those criminal charges? Secondly, you spoke about the president coming here to answer questions. I have not seen the questions to the president, but is there any question to him about the justice minister, so that you can follow up, because we know that follow-up questions depends on the main question that was asked. You can't ask a new question on that. Well, as I said, I have not seen the questions, but maybe if you can please indicate if there is a question to the president on what he plans to do about the Minister of Justice. And thirdly, speaking about people who say compromised parliamentarians that are serving here, actually it's a follow-up from my colleague. I mean, when you talk about numbers, ActionSA has 6 seats in Parliament, and you need majority to introduce reforms. How are you planning to do any changes around that? Thanks.
Thank you. Go ahead,
Thank
please.
you so much. My name is Dennis Dalport from Netwerk 24. I've got a question for the President as well as Mr. Trollop. Mr. Mashaba, with regards to Tshwane, the DA and Siljebrink specifically have stated that what happened in Tshwane will be the end of ActionSA. Now you would remember being in chamber last week, the humming of the funeral songs and stuff. Just your comments on that. And then they also made the statement that Dr. Moya is a puppet mayor for the EFF and the ANC. Now I remember in her speech, Dr. Moya said that she would be a mayor for the people of Tshwane, not any political party, not the ActionSA, not the EFF, not the ANC. Just your comment on that. And then the last question with regards to Gauteng. If the opportunity arises to get that mayorship positions in Johannesburg and Ekurhuleni, would you take that up? And how badly do you want that positions to maybe take control of Gauteng ActionSA?
Oh, okay.
And then to Mr. Trollip, with regards to Minister Similani, ActionSA laid those charges against Minister Similani. Did you provide any evidence to the South African Police Services? And then I've also spoken to the presidency, and they confirmed to me on Friday that the president hasn't taken any decision yet on Similani. And I've just spoken to the Hawks as well, who say they are still investigating, but no update to give to the media. Why do we see this delay, and what is it that ActionSA want? Is it a resignation? Is it that she steps aside, or can you just elaborate on that? And then the NPA also confirmed last week that they will not prosecute the president or anyone in the Phala matter. Can we just have ActionSA's comments on that matter as well? Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Sine from Daily Maverick. Sorry. Good afternoon, Sine from Daily Maverick. Just a quick follow-up on my two colleagues' questions. Given that ActionSA's caucus is only 6 people, practically, what are some of the measurable goals that you want to achieve in the next year, 2 years?
Oh, sorry. Sir? The next question? Sir, in the hat? Oh, no, this one, okay.
It's my trainer from the independent media. Mr. Trollip, you made mention of the ministerial handbook that it needs to be updated. What are the necessary changes you were talking about you would want to see made in the ministerial handbook? Thank you.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Babalo from Eyewitness News. And just clarity, will the CRC Constitutional Review Committee submission on compromised MPs, will that include a private member's bill or a legislation proposal to address this issue or this matter of compromised members? Because we know a few caucuses are littered with compromised MPs in Parliament. And just on the GNU stats and metrics, are these metrics not maybe a little premature, to gauge performance just 3 months into the new administration, 100 days, or is the honeymoon essentially over now? And on Tshwane, just in conclusion, can you answer by anyone? I know some people are still grappling with how you reconcile, jumping into bed with the ANC in the capital and the EFF, but you adopt this posture nationally on the GNU as an official opposition party that's not involved in any government. I mean, how do you navigate that when you try to explain to people why you would take these, contrasting kind of positions? Because Tshwane is not just a local matter; it's on top of the national discourse.
Thanks very much. We knew that would happen. When we are here in Parliament, that we would be addressing issues of Tshwane, many other provinces apart from here. We knew that would happen. Shall I propose an order?
Let me start. Mine are easy ones. Let me kill the easy one first. And,
all right. So I will have the president. I'll have the president answer the questions posed to him, followed by the caucus leader, Honorable Ethel Trollip, and then I will also allow the national chairperson to take a bite at the last question. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, colleagues. I think, yeah, let me deal with the easy ones, because I think the ones of, directed at me, without any doubt, are quite easy because as being called the lapdog of the ANC, we used to being called a DA light. And I remember when I was the executive mayor of the city of Johannesburg, I was called an EFF mayor. So I'm not defined by slogans, obviously, people already put on us. I really operate on the basis of what's actually quite practical in any given situation. I think I entered politics because of the direction my country was taking, really concerned with the deep levels of corruption, creating 54% of our people to live under poverty. And one, living in a constitutional democracy, that's why I decided to use my privileged position to participate directly in this brutal work. So, look, we are not going to be defined by other political parties who we are. We will operate in good faith and operate in the interest of the people of South Africa. And one thing that we've got to appreciate is that South Africa has entered the era of coalitions, whether we like it or not. This is a numbers game. It is a numbers game, and if you want to operate outside the mandate of the voters, unfortunately, you'll be left on the sidelines of history. You obviously respond to what the voters have demanded of you to do. So, at the moment in Tshwane, because of the threat to destroy our party, as the colleague from Network 24 said, Celebrating saying this is going to be the end of ActionSA. I think
it was the end of Celia's break.
Yeah, that's exactly the end of Celia's break. He thought when this issue started, and they're the ones who started this. And we needed to defend ourselves. I gave you an example of what I did in 1978 at 1 o'clock in the morning when you try and attack me, and I realized you're going to attack you first. And I make sure that I destroy you. And that's basically what we did as ActionSA to protect ourselves. We thought at the time that we were in a stable coalition with the DA. We had the numbers in Tshwane. And all of a sudden, it comes to our attention that DA wants to end our life, wanted to be another Aham or Cope. We said, no, we are not. We are ActionSA, and we're going to protect ourselves, and that's exactly what we did. Yes, the last few days has been really exciting for us as a party. We are now completely independent. The voters out there are aware now that ActionSA is actually a totally independent political party. It's not aligned to any other party. We'll always act in the interest of the people of South Africa and to protect our own political party. Regarding Johannesburg and Ukureni, definitely we're not really chasing to really be the taking over mayorship. I think we will really see how we can better participate in ensuring that we can turn around those municipalities. As you are aware, 2 years ago, to demonstrate our commitment to the stability of our country, 2 years ago when Popalazi lost as executive mayor, we and us as ActionSA and Freedom Front Plus managed to get the PA to work with us to protect the DA mayor. What happened? Unfortunately, as ActionSA being prepared, we only had 3 MMCs at the time. And we were the second biggest political party in this coalition. I don't know if you're aware, at the moment ActionSA is the third biggest party in the city of Johannesburg with 44 councillors. So we had the numbers with PA, and unfortunately DA refused to protect Mpopalazi, which is really quite unfortunate. And I find it actually very strange with what the analysts and the celebrities of this world are saying about celebrating. But colleagues, please, let's really be, let's not have double standards. When Johannesburg was collapsing, honestly, we never experienced the level of attacks and insults we received when we wanted to defend ourselves in Tshwane. But when we wanted to save a DA mayor in Johannesburg, Dr. Mpopalatsi, who I had the privilege to work with the 3 years I was a mayor, complete silence by analysts, by the media. But Celia Brink, he must be some kind of a special person. I think he was projected to really be the best mayor the world has ever seen. But fortunate enough, the numbers actually speak for themselves. And Dr. Moya will be unveiling the actual status of the city of Tshwane in the coming days. So it's still settling in her office. You will see, as you guys are aware, DA did not take over the city of Tshwane in 2021. They've been governing the city of Tshwane since 2016. And us as ActionSA, we put the DA in Tshwane. We put the DA in Johannesburg. We put the DA in Ekurhuleni. I don't know if you've forgotten that the DA pulled out of negotiations with us 2 days before the election of the executive mayor of Johannesburg and Ekurhuleni and Tshwane. And us as ActionSA, on the day of those councils, we mobilized enough votes to keep ANC out. But unfortunately, DA collapsed all those municipalities. I've always said to South Africans, in fact, I think I put it on social media the other day, that I actually invite the scholars in this country to really look at the common denominator with the collapse of governments since 2016. I really invite anyone, any scholar, to do research. Anyone doing a master's program, very important you'll see who's been responsible for the collapse of these municipalities. And in terms of navigating positions, I think for us as ActionSA, when we take decisions, we put people of South Africa first. And some of the decisions we take on a short-term basis, people might really think we are unfair or we are flip-floppers. We take decisions that will ultimately make sure that we provide services to all the residents, but at the same time, make sure that we unite South Africans. We cannot accept corruption. We cannot accept any political party that's going to polarize South Africans along racial lines. We'll do everything possible. On a short-term basis, you can insult us, call us whatever names. We will stand for what we believe long-term is in the best interest of South Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm going to start with Mr. Felix about us occupying the middle ground. That's not a bad word, but what we're saying is actually that we're a pivot or a fulcrum in Parliament, because we now have a very powerful government bloc of 71%. And on the other side, in the opposition, we've got a brand new political party with no opposition experience. The former Democratic Alliance in opposition was a very good opposition, but now there's a void there, and it's not been properly filled. Whatever we've seen in the last 3.5 months in Parliament is pretty stereotypical behavior from uMkhonto or weSizwe party, and also the EFF that hasn't been successful in Parliament. So I believe that we're a fulcrum, and a fulcrum, if I can explain it best, is like a seesaw. A seesaw only works if there's a fulcrum in the middle, and I believe that we can occupy that space. Doesn't matter that we're only 6 people. I've already experienced that we have had an impact in Parliament. People are starting to talk about our members. I've had members from the EFF approach me and say, that lady with the short black hair and the dark rimmed glasses, is she a member of ActionSA? Wow, she's good, she knows what she's talking about. Nobody can gainsay the contributions made in portfolio committees and in full sessions of Parliament by people like Khosi de Trape. I've heard people, the chairperson of the committee, saying, wow, that guy who talks about finances and treasury and the SARS, he really knows what he's talking about. He comes and makes contributions. So I believe that we can box way above our weight division simply because we arrive better prepared, more professional, and more committed to being that fulcrum that is so important to make any institution or organization work. Lulama from SABC, we did lay criminal charges. I'm going to ask my colleague Malebo Kobe to deal with the exact charges, because she laid the charges, because the charges had to be laid where the crime took place in Limpopo province, and she went there with the chairperson of ActionSA in Limpopo, and she laid the charges. So when I'm done, I'm going to ask her just to make some comments about that. There is a question on Thursday in Parliament. It's been asked by Glynis Breitenbach from the DA with reference to the President's comments that he made in the National Council of Provinces on the 12th of September, talking about the report which he requested from the Minister. So there will be an opportunity to take up all the issues, all the correspondence, every comment we've made, the charges that we've laid, the letters to the Public Protector, the letters to the Speaker. I'll be raising all of those issues, and the fact that there's been radio silence from all the people in that regard. In fact, my meeting with the Public Protector was alarming, because they showed no appetite whatsoever to proceed with this investigation. We're going to be watching what the Hawks are going to do regarding their investigation. So we will certainly use every opportunity to make sure we hold public office bearers, especially ministers, to account. With regards to compromised MPs and can we make a difference with 6 seats, well, the one thing that my colleagues will attest to is that I had a previous political life, and I remember I've been inspired my whole life by people like Helen Suzman, who was the only member of Parliament in her caucus, and she made an incredible difference. So we tick 6 times potentially stronger than that. And we've already seen that we can make a difference. So I have no doubt that the 6 of us will make a difference. And if you use every lever to influence people by encouraging them to do the right thing, and if they don't do the right thing, you expose them for their reluctance to do the right thing. So we're going to use honey and the stick to get MPs to do the right thing. And I believe we can be successful with that. Sorry, I didn't know it was Bennett or Mr. Bennett. I just want to say one thing. I'm sure Mr. Mashaba answered the question around Silius Brink and Tshwane. All that glitters is not gold in my life, and I've seen that so many times. But I do know that Dr. Nasipi Moya is nobody's puppet, and she's not there alone. She has got the support of this caucus. She's got the support of every member in this caucus. We spoke about it this morning in our caucus committee and last night when we had a meeting with our president. She's got the support of every member in our Senate, and she has the support of our national leadership. So she's not alone, but she has already shown in 2 weeks, once as an acting mayor, 1 week, and 1 week as the mayor, that she's nobody's puppet. So people who are calling her a puppet, that's premature. Wait and see. Die stof gaan trek in Tshwane, dis verseker. And then with regards to Minister Semelani, what evidence do we have? Well, the evidence keeps mounting. We had an interaction with the minister where the more questions we asked her, the deeper she got. Recently, she appeared before the ANC's Integrity Commission. She made some statements there. Latterly, we've heard that she was encouraged to withdraw those statements. The statement said that she reported her VBS allegations to the President in 2021 when he appointed her as a Deputy Minister. Well, if President Ramaphosa needs time and space, he's known for requiring a lot of time and space. 2021 to 2024 is enough time and space to deal with a minister that has a cloud of corruption hanging over her head, and we're going to put more and more pressure on him to deal with that. Why the delays from the President? Well, you know, I can't answer that, but he has shown that he has got scant appetite for taking action against members of his executive committee. What do we expect? Well, we expect, at the very least, a resignation, or a suspension, or that she gets fired. Because why should people in the course of public service be expected to go on suspension while investigations are continuing when the Minister of Justice can continue sitting, for example, in the Judicial Services Commission today and the whole of last week, appointing judges, yet she has a cloud of corruption hanging over her head. So she actually should just step aside if the President hasn't the gumption or the courage to deal with it. She should step aside while the investigation is taking place. As for Pala Pala, it is not going to be swept under the couch. The NPA might believe that there isn't a prima facie case. We believe there is a prima facie case. For example, if you or I were found with $580,000 in our couch, we would have to answer in a court of law, because that is a criminal offense in itself. Where the money came from, that's another matter. Where the money went to, that's but the fact of the matter is that there's a contravention of the Foreign Exchange Act in this country, and the President must account for it. Simple as that. Daily Maverick, what do we plan to do in the next 2 years, and what are the measurable goals? That statement that I gave and read out this morning, it's available to you. I think that we've set out exactly what our goals are in that statement, and I have already answered the matter that I think with 6 people you can move mountains if you want to. And Mr. Maklina, how do we propose to make changes to the ministerial handbook? Well, we're going to use every lever available to us, including encouraging members of parliament and other political parties to do the right thing. We can't continue with a ministerial handbook that allows people to live a lavish and safe lifestyle when the rest of the country lives an impoverished and unsafe lifestyle. So we were going to encourage members to do the right thing. We're going to do it in public speeches, in public statements. We're going to call parties out. We're going to challenge them, and we're going to use every influence that we have. And I want to tell you that the sphere of influence is enormous in Parliament. Every one of us attends committee meetings. We don't do that in a vacuum. We sit there with ANC MPs, EF MPs, MKP MPs, DA MPs. We're building relations. We're starting to get recognition because we're serious about fixing South Africa. That is our fundamental slogan. It's the only slogan that ActionSA has. We're not a sloganeering party. Our slogan is we want to fix South Africa. And every day we attend committees and attend plenary sessions in Parliament, people are starting to see us for a party and individuals that want to fix South Africa, and you can wield incredible influence with that kind of reputation. As for compromised caucuses, with members who appear now in Parliament with impunity as if they aren't implicated in state capture, to me, I think that honeymoon is going to be very, very short-lived. What I found incredibly encouraging last week in the Judicial Services Commission was when we were appointing judges to the various divisions across this country, all the people that are in the field of justice, that means attorneys, advocates, Chief Justice herself, judge presidents, they were all saying we need judges with criminal jurisprudence experience because the state capture cases are coming. Now, isn't that amazing? We've been waiting for years, decades, and people in the JSC are talking. Let's get the experience we need to prosecute successfully and put people in jail for state capture. So that's what's going to happen. People are going to start going to jail. Even those people who've arrived here. I made an observation. MKP arrived, quite to everyone's surprise, and I think their own surprise, with 14.6%. They all arrived for the first 2.5 months. They wore camouflage uniforms. All of them. Backpacks, jackboots, berets, you name it. And then when they realized after 2.5 months, it's not really different to the other party that wears overalls. You need to have a bit more substance than that. When the new state capture guys arrived in their jackets and ties, all of them start wearing jackets and ties. You've got to be about more than that as a political party. You have got to have integrity, and you've got to have the kind of attitude to being a public representative that is credible and trustworthy, and they haven't achieved that yet. Lastly, with regards to the metrics being premature, I'm going to ask Michael Beaumont to respond to that question because they're a living assessment of metrics. I'm sure Michael will speak to that. And then, in conclusion, before I ask Malebo to speak and then Michael, in Tshwane, I think it's so exciting in South Africa that we have a different option. In the GNU, we've got 10 political parties. It's pretty much mirrored in the provincial government of national unity in KZN. Also pretty much a GNU, same parties. Now, in Johannesburg, there's a different coalition. And Tshwane, there's a different coalition. And there'll be more going forward. And the people of South Africa will evaluate and measure which one is successful, which one isn't successful. When you have choices, you can make choices. When you have no choice, it's Hobson's choice. Malebo?
Thanks, Apple. So as our caucus leader has just explained, we went on the 1st of October to go and open a case against the now Justice Minister, Thembisi Melane, who was then at the time the mayor of Polokwane municipality. So we decided to open it in Polokwane because that's where we believe that the matter took place. And we instituted these criminal charges against her because we believe she was in contravention of 2 charges. So that's the PRECA law, the Prevention and Combating of Corrupt Activities Act of 2004, and also the common law of forgery, because we believe that the contract that was produced between her and Gundo Wealth Solutions, that is post facto, was actually forged in order for her to sort of legitimize this transaction, which we believe initially was illegal. They have given us a case. It's CAS 17/10/2024. So we have not produced supporting documents because we were not in possession of it. However, they have opened the matter and they have opened an inquiry to that end. The matter has been escalated to the Hawks, and the Hawks have gotten back to us to say that they are indeed investigating the matter.
If you found this video informative, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more content like this. And as always, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay informed and stay engaged.